Demons are generally considered fallen angels, spiritual beings who rebelled against God. The most well-known narrative is that of Lucifer, a high-ranking angel who became Satan after his rebellion. The fall of Satan and other angels is mentioned in Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15, Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17, and Revelation 12 verses 7 to 9. Lucifer, a high-ranking angel, became proud and sought to make himself equal to God, resulting in his expulsion from heaven. Revelation 12 verses 7 to 9 describes a heavenly battle where Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, Satan, and his angels, who were cast down to earth. After Satan's fall, he and the other fallen angels sought ways to distance God's children from God himself. In Eden, Satan, disguised as a serpent, deceived Eve into eating the forbidden fruit, leading to humanity's fall, Genesis 3 verses 1 to 6. He also tempted Jesus in the wilderness, offering him power and glory in exchange for worship, but Jesus resisted using scripture, Matthew 4 verses 1 to 11, Luke 4 verses 1 to 13. The activity of demons on earth. Possession. Jesus frequently encountered people possessed by demons and delivered them, demonstrating his power over evil spirits. For example, the man in the synagogue in Capernaum, Mark 1 verses 23 to 27. The Gadarenes demoniacs, Matthew 8 verses 28 to 34. The possessed boy whom Jesus healed after the transfiguration, Matthew 17 verses 14 to 18. Symptoms of demonic possession can include destructive behavior, superhuman strength, knowledge of hidden things, and aversion to the sacred. Opposition to the gospel. Satan and his demons work to prevent people from understanding and accepting the gospel. Paul mentions that the God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4. Daniel 10 verse 13 mentions the prince of the kingdom of Persia resisting an angel, suggesting the presence of demonic forces influencing nations and political systems. Ephesians 6 verse 12 talks about wrestling against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age. Afflictions. Some physical illnesses are attributed to demonic activity. For example, Jesus healed a woman who had been crippled for 18 years due to a spirit of infirmity, Luke 13 verses 11 to 16. Emotional and mental afflictions are also mentioned, such as the man among the tombs in Gadara, who cut himself and cried out constantly, Mark 5 verses 1 to 5. The spirit of Jezebel. Who was Jezebel? Who was Jezebel in the Bible? Why is her name synonymous with evil and manipulation? And how does the spirit of Jezebel manifest today? Let's explore together. Jezebel was a Phoenician princess who introduced Baal worship to Israel, promoting idolatry and immorality. She persecuted God's prophets and tried to eradicate the worship of the Lord. Her influence over Ahab and her role in Israel's spiritual corruption are notable. She became the queen of Israel by marrying King Ahab. Her story is found in 1 Kings, chapters 16 to 21. In 1 Kings 16 verse 31, we read, "It wasn't enough for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, he also married Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him." Characteristics of the Jezebel spirit. The spirit of Jezebel doesn't just refer to the historical person but to a pattern of behavior and spiritual influence that still exists today. The main characteristics of the Jezebel spirit include manipulation, control, seduction, and rebellion against God's authority. This spirit operates through individuals who seek to dominate and control others for their own purposes. In Revelation 2 verse 20, Jesus warns the church in Thyatira, "Nevertheless, I have this against you, you tolerate that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet. By her teaching, she misleads my servants into sexual immorality and the eating of food sacrificed to idols." Jezebel and Elijah, the spiritual confrontation. In 1 Kings 18 verse 21, Elijah challenges the people, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, follow him." Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal in a decisive spiritual battle, demonstrating God's power over false gods. Elijah's victory revealed Baal's impotence and the evil of the cult promoted by Jezebel. After the victory, in 1 Kings 18 verse 40, we read, "Then Elijah commanded them, seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let anyone get away." They seized them, and Elijah had them brought down to the Kishon Valley and slaughtered there. The Jezebel spirit today. The Jezebel spirit is still present today, manifesting in various ways in our lives and communities. This spirit can operate wherever there is an attempt at manipulation and control. It can manifest in personal relationships, churches, businesses, and even politics. In Ephesians 6 verse 12, Paul reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." To overcome the Jezebel spirit, it's essential to recognize its presence and act with discernment and spiritual power. The key to victory is fervent prayer, fasting, and a continuous pursuit of God's holiness and truth. In James 4 verse 7, we are instructed, "Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." To know if you are being influenced by the Jezebel spirit, check if you identify any of these behaviors in your life and learn how to act to defeat them. Manipulation. The Jezebel spirit is a master of manipulation, using subtle or aggressive tactics to control situations and people. If you find yourself frequently trying to manipulate others to get what you want, using lies, exaggerated flattery, or emotional blackmail, it may be a sign of this influence. Control. This spirit seeks to exert control over others, often under the guise of protection or leadership. Feeling the need to control every aspect of the lives of those around you, including personal and professional decisions, may indicate the presence of this spirit. Seduction. Jezebel used her appearance and charm to gain power and influence. Using seduction, whether through appearance, speech, or behavior, to gain advantages or influence others is a clear characteristic. Rebellion. The Jezebel spirit rebels against authority, especially divine authority. If you feel a constant resistance to following guidance, especially those involving moral and ethical standards, it may be an indication. Spiritual deception. Jezebel pretended to be a prophet, distorting the truth to deceive others. Participating in spiritual or religious activities with hidden motives, using faith to manipulate or control, is a sign of influence. Destruction of relationships. This spirit causes division and destruction in personal and community relationships. If your presence frequently causes conflicts, misunderstandings, and breakups in relationships, it may be Jezebel's influence. Recognize some other impulses that may come over you if you are being influenced by this spirit. For example, frequent conflicts, being constantly involved in conflicts and misunderstandings, both at work and in personal life. To combat this behavior, you can reflect on your interactions and seek ways to promote peace and harmony. Need for control, excessive distrust, resistance to authority, and seduction to gain power. Recognizing the influence of the Jezebel spirit is the first step to freeing oneself from it. The Bible teaches us to resist the devil, and he will flee from us. Take actions contrary to each sign of this spirit's influence so that this type of behavior is not frequent. If you identified any of these characteristics in your life, it is important to seek spiritual help through prayer, fasting, and pastoral counseling. Remember that with God's help, you can overcome any negative influence and live a full and free life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Leave your comment below about your experiences and opinions on the Jezebel spirit. See you next time.